Peter, what are you dancing today?
What are you dancing today, Yari?
Um, uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah, I don't know.
dancing.
That's why I asked the question back to you.
I think I'm dancing waking up, but maybe not only waking up in the morning, but waking up a certain corner of the body,
Yeah.
something like that.
Nice.
That's
I,
sometimes they stay for very long asleep. You know
hmm,
what I mean?
I think I found some rhythms in the hair today, which is nice. It's not for granted that there's a rhythm.
No, no. Some people work a lot with rhythms. I feel like they start from that, but some other more with patterns, like visual patterns, or I don't know.
Sort of a compositional thing, you mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm
I,
much more busy all the time about
yeah.
visual.
Ah. Um, what did you think of this week's episode? Uh, hair, risk, safety.
Um, it was. I listened that while biking.
Safely.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting because I really listened to that even like a couple of times to make sure to be with that. Um, and it was there was something that strikes me, and it was about the question of if risk. No, sincerely,
Yes,
I'm
Ole.
I'm I'm not there. I'm not there now. I'm so sorry. I must admit my ignorance.
I mean, it did us. I sort of was wondering because I didn't warm up or I don't warm up for um this dance we're doing now. So I did have to think, is that is that a safe practice or what would be a safe way to sort of prepare for this dance? What am I risking when dancing? I think something that didn't come up is like the adrenaline often of dancing, the sort of uh, that I'm listening to the performance of it all rather than maybe what my body needs.
Mm.
And I know that's where I get injured or I can have like I find myself doing things that maybe I shouldn't be doing. I'm not ready for. I haven't
Mm.
prepared myself for.
Yeah, I mean it's nice because you make very clear that as a dancer we like risk, and as an audience we like risk. Everyone kind of like a dance that
Hmm.
is in risk or that
Hmm.
looks like risky.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
it's a bit like a sport relation, no?
Hmm.
In that sense. And I was really thinking that virtuosity is really connected to risk in the end, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
already it looks that it's risky, so the audience cannot do something
Hmm.
uh, then it's so risky. I don't know. And but also as a performer, we're always very drawn to this pushing the limits or something. Uh,
Yeah.
but also then not. Then there is also a refusal of that risky side.
Yeah.
Because risky is really a lot of engagement. I mean, in a state where I am now, in a sort of like, you know, I woke up. Risky can be very little in itself.
Yeah.
And it's just by doing a couple of little fast things, I feel like I'm really at risk. But I don't know if I'm really at risk, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But because there's also, I think you say it really nicely in a way, like with sport, there's a direction you're always trying to improve your jump or your speed or um and also obviously do it safely, but ultimately if you're not competing with the sort of the standard of the game, then there's you're not able to sort of compete, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Whereas in dance, we are able to push those virtuosic spaces and then also come back away from them as well and challenge the the sort of beauty of risk or the that desire for risk and find other types of risk as well. And I think what I don't think about too often is the sort of the the mental risk of some of the things we set up for ourselves in dance and how we prevent or protect ourselves or prepare for these. Like here, for example, our script is really small, right? Like we have one question and then we just sort of open form talking. Um, and so we put ourselves in quite a risky situation, trying to find things to say, trying to um, speak off the spur, like spur of the moment. This because it's a recording. There's uh, we feel pressured to like not to pause too long, like to actually think about what we're saying. I'm thinking about earlier here where you said you were starting to say something and then you said, "Oh no, my thoughts are not in in order." And there's a sort of protection, right? Of like, I don't want to say something that I don't know what I'm saying or that is unformulated somehow.
Mm. Yeah, stay at risk. Yeah. Oh, I have so many thoughts that I can't make it in one.
But how did you find this last prompt of like, mm, to do a dance that has no risk, that takes no risk? I mean, what is there a sensation of that? Like, is there a space for that? And also this idea of end as well, where there's a,
When it's enough, when it's like, no,
yeah,
I have to
yeah,
stop here.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I felt maybe that having a dance that there is no risk, it's also like finally take out some social pressure I
Mm,
had of showing, because also I mean very often or in sometimes tech, like when you see a dancer dancing,
mm,
it might look it's at risk, but it's not at all. That's the
yeah.
point, it's also one of your exercises, like maybe it's
Mm,
not exactly this, but it is like find non-risk in risk, or
yeah.
find a risk in non-risk,
Yeah.
or so I think that that's this pressure that also could really be in the real, also very, very present
Yeah.
ethically. I mean, there is a few stuff in real also, like where the context of dancing, not real, also like about dancing and finding together research, or like that
Hmm.
that are very contextual in dance, in the sense that, like touch, for example, that is very like the relation between consent, the
Hmm.
relation between risk, it's different. We take for granted certain based of dance that cannot be super discussed, can be discussed, but
Mm,
like this is like entering the context, it is kind of signing a base of some of risk, a base of
yeah.
touch, a base of moving your body, for example, like, or I
Hmm.
don't
Hmm.
know, a certain kind of minimum, I would say. I don't know if that is higher than usual life, that everyday maybe context in
Yeah.
relation to that. And so I'm thinking that maybe how that stay in the room, and how we can together uh, as a group be with, and it's very hard because
Mm,
your question, what would a dance of care be? I thought an answer would have been, it's the dance that care for the person that is more in need
hmm.
in
Hmm.
the room, or something like that. You know what I
Mm,
mean? That's the speed, that's the rate, that's
yeah.
the rhythm that's given by that person,
Yeah.
not the opposite. Because in the studio, it's more very often is the opposite.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this person can get there, this person has to get there, but maybe also it's true. It's also this is an act of care. It's like, oh, if this
Hmm.
person can't, we should help this person to get there.
Yeah.
So it's more like the way we engage with this person, how the support is
Yeah.
established, than maybe how much you risk or not, or
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
so
thinking.
it's really beautifully said. Like in the baby performance, something that I found which I was quite surprised by was that we made a rule that you dance for the person who has the least ability, the sort of the youngest in the room is
Mm,
often the measure, the person who you set the tone for everyone there. And then what I was sort of noticing is that I'm trying to articulate not not like a specific virtuosity, but I'm trying to provide adults that come with the children, and also children that are more developed, to appreciate things which the the youngest in the room, or the least developed in the room, can appreciate. I'm noticing like the word developed sort of is problematic in the relationship to what I'm trying to describe, but I think you understand what I mean. Like it, it situates itself to the to that person, or those attributes, and then but I find this really curious of the practice of appreciation. And I feel like the more I dance, that's perhaps the thing that I'm studying more is how to appreciate certain qualities, certain bodily knowledges and practices and activities, how to appreciate them and how to spend time with them, finding ways in. And with the babies, actually, quite specifically, uh, and this actually does challenge this idea of development. Each child has such a unique and specific way of being and being attentive to things, to their sensorial system, to their perception, that you're sort of always surprised and always sort of taken to a place which is sort of undefinable almost. Like I find myself with like lack of words and lack of a knowledge of how to fully attend because I'm trying to attend something that uh, is beyond my ability to speak about and to categorize quite clearly. Like, for example, like if the child is playing with the shadow and the light, is it simply just visual or is it something more complex which involves other senses or other interests than just movement per se? The categorization at that age is so undefined that they have like the ability to find interests and particularities which we haven't sort of limited through the categorization of, okay, they're dealing with light, movement, and such.
Yeah.
There's a sort of blurriness and openness to it. And I'd imagine that's the same for everyone, even though we say, now I'm dealing with the movement of my hands. What that means for me and how you understand that are perhaps quite different, even if we can sort of agree that we're within the same contractual space or conceptual space of moving hands, like how I move my hands and what I'm relating to when I move my hands is perhaps very specific to my physiology, my social, economic, personal history and context with that movement, with that with that
Yeah.
those with that yeah with that moment. And then so dancing, then it was really sort of like, oh wow, then dancing can be really about how do we spend more time and be more appreciative of yeah uh, experience and being with each other or with a
Mm.
context with a sensation.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean that's also some. I mean, in a big picture, it's all your workshop are very busy, mostly with experience.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
yeah. Uh, there was something because you're speaking about a dance that you really even don't know where it is when you spoke about,
Mm.
the experience of the
Hmm.
baby. You're like, there is a dance, but I'm not sure where this dance is situated.
Hmm.
And that you had this question about the dance, caring for the dancer or the dance, right?
Hmm.
No, yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
And and it's so interesting because like this, from a point of view of a choreographer, I suppose there is a dance, there is a dance, then there is the dancers,
Hmm.
and they're or you are sort of controlling, or I am controlling the dance or trying to figure out what the dance needs. But it's still, the dance is coming a lot from, it depends, but very often can come a lot from me. So also my needs and the needs of the dance as a choreographer sometimes are very similar.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking also that,
When you
it,
say me, are you referring to
yeah,
yourself in the
yeah,
role of the dancer? Just
No, now as a choreographer, sorry.
as a choreographer. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying basically that the
Yes.
division between the dancer and the dance, it's something that we are kind of exploring quite a lot, or that's been explored. Yeah. But then the division between the choreographer and the dance,
Mm,
it's also an interesting subject.
yeah, true.
Because such a question can work caring for the dancer or the dancer only if there is also a clear division between the dance and the choreographer.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
also the choreographer is subjected to the dance,
Yeah. Yeah.
to the subjectivity of the dance. Also
Yeah.
if the choreographer is listening to that, and the choreographer is, in that sense, and this happened because when I think I was working with Samuel Feldhandler, and it's so interesting because you would think it's the opposite. He writes choreography directly. He writes scores
Mm,
before doing a dance. So he first writes scores, and they're very movement-based scores and very rhythmical. So it's not a score
controlled.
where it's a task. It's not a
Mm,
prompt or a task. It's a
mm,
real, almost a notation. It's a notation. And yet, I think this gave him really strong agency to be a dancer, to be a choreographer subjected, you know,
mhm,
to a score, to a dance. Because
yeah.
once the score was written, it was very clear what the score says, so what the dance somehow wants, and what he, as a choreographer, wants. There were two different things,
Yeah.
or can do, and so on. And the same then what the dancer can do in relation to these
Mm,
two things. So also making a power that is shared, the responsibility is shared by three and not by
yeah.
two. I think in that
Yeah.
sense was also quite powerful.
No, this is really interesting. And I kind of want to sit with it for a little bit because it's so playful as a yeah, as a way into thinking around these things. I had to think of Lee Anderson as well. She was speaking a lot about creating a problem with which to solve together with the dancer. So it becomes like a third thing. So they had the video of Laurel and Hardy, and that acts as like a script or a score, which then they can talk about um, to sort of and discuss free of sort of speaking to the choreographer who is the only voice of the score or the 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 script, so to say, the choreography, that it's sort of externalized from the choreographer's personhood a little bit more. I mean, obviously, still Lee, I think, has a lot of decisions that she'll make after and before the choosing or sharing the video to work on. However, the it sort of alleviates that or puts a pause on that for a bit so that some material can be produced between the people.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's really important, or it's really interesting to acknowledge. And what Sam's doing is so it's like it's such a historic way actually of choreographing and obviously useful has been very useful and continues to be very useful way to sort of provide a yeah that division. Well, one thing that came up for me was when when we're talking about and thinking about like the role of the choreographer and the dancer and the dance, there's like there's a question of control at play. Like, can the choreographer control the dance? And I feel we have a sort of there's no absolute there. Like, and sometimes at least I find myself thinking through this absolute, like the choreographer choreographs the dance, therefore they control the dance. However, the reality is a lot more complex than that. The choreographer is an actor within the emergence of this thing we call dance. And they hold a specific role, and maybe one of their roles is to try to control, try to manipulate. And the same with the dancer. Even the dancer is trying to control or can be seen as trying to control or coerce or mm, gain gain control over the dance in order to execute it in a way they wish or the way they think the choreographer wishes or so. But I almost feel like you can never have full control of the dance. The dance is always constitutive of so many other actors and players that yeah, there's a sort of distribution or a yeah the idea of full control. I think this is what I'm questioning.
Yeah, I understand. It's a shared agency,
Yeah.
or it's a yeah. I mean, definitely, what it looks to me, the choreographer is the one can that can affect more the dance in a big picture, like make space for the dance to happen in the big context. Uh, so maybe this zoom out role. I don't know if it's an outside eye, but like this pushing the perimeters. This is what I mean.
Mm,
Or make sure push or like make space for the center of to appear, make space for the periphery to appear to the
mm.
that kind of thing. I feel like.
They have a lot more like sort of legislative type um control, right? That they're usually closer to the where and how the dance is shown,
Mm.
and being able to make decisions around the conditions in which the dance is danced. And I think that sort of contributes to them have seeming to have more control than other actors, right? Like they're the ones often that get to choose the name of the piece because they're the ones in dialogue with the people promoting the piece. It's very rare that the dancer would be in such close proximity to the sort of yeah the contextualization or um, apparatuses of forming the dance, the naming, the promoting, the staging, the situating um, within a community or within a certain festival or program.
And the choreographer is the one that sits the most with the dance, also with the
Yeah,
piece that he's doing,
yeah,
or they are doing, or she's doing in that
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So also this is also a lot. I mean, more you spend time with, and more somehow,
You gain knowledge, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
and you gain the more knowledge you have, the greater control you have. Yeah,
Mm.
I
But
think.
when the audience is there, also this is where the choreographer can't do much. Or when the performance is happening. I saw so
Yes.
many choreographer like going crazy during a performance because they couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop. They couldn't
Yeah.
suggest. They couldn't scream
Yeah.
something like to dancer.
Yeah.
They could, or how going crazy because the audience have an interpretation of the piece
Yeah.
and it's totally far from what they thought.
Mm. No,
So that's
exactly. I've heard also stories where choreographers have stopped performances midway because it's not doing what they wish it to do. And it's interesting, isn't it? So what you're talking about with Sam is like he's taking care of together with the dancers, they're able to take care of the score. In this example of someone stopping a performance, the choreographer is trying to take care of this image or vision that they have for the dance. They don't wish it to be. The dancers are often trying to take care of and take responsibility for what they've been given whilst in the performance. So care actually has a lot of like seems to have a lot of like what do you call it? Relationship the to how and who and what is controlling the dance and where the agency is within a dance. Um, yeah. I mean, I had to think of when you were just talking now of the yeah, the dancer maybe has definitely has more control during the performance. They can do what they like, but they perhaps have the burden or the are a little bit controlled by will I continue working if I don't do as I was told? Will I get
Yeah,
another job?
yeah,
Which is
yeah.
such a yeah, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting if we lived in a world where we weren't so dominated by that economic necessity to have a job and to maintain an employment with someone or with a company or within a field even um, that we would be able to dance out or what kind of structures maybe I'm sort of curious what kind of structures would emerge around care and risk and security if we didn't have those dynamics where you're submitting a little bit your agency to the economic necessity of maintaining a job and so on.
Mhm.
Because in those relations, the choreographer often has greater power and greater freedom. And then people above the choreographer have even more freedom and control and power.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And when abuse maybe or limits are crossed, it's mostly in those relationship where they can't really be
mm,
changed. And yeah, you're kind of yeah.
yeah,
It's in the day in the I think some the rehearsals sometimes are too fast for that things. Like what would be like I never stop a rehearsal and say, oh, maybe we should speak about this altogether. Like, oh, that
yeah,
specific that is happening now. Oh, this power things or just like
yeah,
it's such a pity that I'm not really
yeah,
able to do.
yeah. Which is, I mean, which is why I find study or this kind of context kind of interesting because we we find ourselves a little bit freer from some of those necessities, those drives. And I think we often talk about it as production, right? We need to produce, but I think maybe we could think a little bit even broader than that. Like it's these power dynamics and the control they produce upon the dance and what the dance can be and is needed
Mm.
to be. Wow, we covered a lot today, from attention to appreciation, sorry, to power dynamics, the choreographer dancer relationship.
And there is still so much.
Well, then
Thank you
we'll
for
continue
those.
next week.
Thank you for these beautiful episodes. Short but so dense of very inspiring
Oh,
things.
well, thank you. Yeah, I'm infinitely surprised what comes out. Uh, but it's just by getting to spend time with people like yourself and to be allowed to be in this community and with dance that allows me to sort of keep asking these questions. Um, and I'm glad you're supporting me at least in asking these questions. So it means a lot. So it's so rewarding to me. I find it's infinitely fascinating. But hey, we're going to try something different maybe in a couple of weeks or a week or something. But let's see. Let's keep it a secret. But we have some ideas coming up.
Yeah.
I'm
And
excited.
what's about the study circle?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm going to um set a date, and we have quite a few people interested. So, but if people are still interested, of course, please let me know. Um, there's always going to be uh, timing conflicts and stuff where people can't attend and do, and uh, but yeah, soon we will start that. Yeah, I'm excited.
Wow, so many new things.
I know too many new things. It gives me heart palpitations. All right. Ciao. See you, Yari.
See you,
Bye.
Peter. Bye.